Your attention, please. I would like to welcome our lecturers here who will present papers on دور التعليم المفتوح في التطوير والتنمية, the role of open learning in the growth and development. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. I hope everybody is ready to attend our lectures, to listen. Thank you. I would like also to welcome our audience here, and I hope you will find this session interesting, and you will benefit from the recommendations or conclusions that our lecturers will come up with. Of course, we'll open the floor for questions and answers at the end of the session, and I would like to, maybe I should present myself, you think? Because I thought it's written, published somewhere. Anyway, sorry. I'm Professor فريدة العوضي, Professor of Medical Biochemistry from Faculty of Medicine, Kuwait University. I'm a Dean to the Graduate College of Kuwait University, and I'm a Senior Consultant to Minister of Health. I would like to invite the first speaker. Actually, the first paper will be presented by two lecturers, Marine Milad and Servant Saharian from Kuwait. Yeah, thank you.
Chairperson, allow me to thank you all for allowing us to share our experience and thoughts with you. The title of our presentation, as you saw, was on blended learning, and the agenda we are going to share together with Dr. Marine Milad. So, as you see, blended learning is a core in our speech and experience. So, as we are co-presenters, the items of the agenda will be presented by both of us. And Dr. Marine and myself, we're going to share. We did the thinking, experimenting was done by Dr. Marine, so the things that are shared will be talked by me, and the things that were experimented, Dr. Marine will take care of it. Thank you, Dr. Now, I prefer to start with a quote, and I chose this quote, Arnold's quote, because it is typical for us now, and it may be typical for tomorrow, when it says any change, even for better, is always accompanied by drawbacks and discomforts. Don't you agree with me? I think in the past and now and maybe in the future, unless something else is done. Now, with the introduction, I am going to just mention a few words because of time constraint. Due to modern technological advances and labor market demand, a growing number of universities are developing a new learning culture to equip their graduates to face the following challenges, to name just a few. From them we can say high competition in the global market, which is a very important issue, and shrinking corporate resources, rapid shifts in technology, and the recruitment and retention of talented, skillful, and trained workers. Blended learning, of course, all of you are familiar with, not only you're experts in. And I don't want to stress on the blended learning as such, but I want to tell you why we chose a blended learning definition here, and that is Haynes. Because it focuses on the effective contribution it has. There are maybe the different modes and nodes. The learning face-to-face and the online, and we have the situation which is composed of styles of learning, the teaching, pedagogy, and maybe transparency also of the learner and the teacher and everybody involved in. With blended e-learning definition, I would like to stress on three things. That's why we chose him, is the face-to-face fact, the online fact, and the self-study fact. The self-study is the assessment. So for us, Haynes, definitions were quite useful. Now, I'm going to ask Dr. Marine to share her experience based on our planning, which she implemented starting from 2010 and repeated twice this experiment to make sure that the results we offer are acceptable. Dr. Marine, please.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Professor Sivart. I'm just going quickly through all the experimental and empirical study that I have applied. Of course, I collected all my data as from my experience and observation since I am a lecturer of English language and literature program at AOU University since 2008. So based on my experience and observation, previous studies related to my variables and pilot study, I can name the problem as such. Then it was noticed that there is a need for developing and improving some identified reading and writing research skills in English for Arab Open University students to serve their academic life through a blended learning employing web quests. And this is the major point that we're going to have a little talk about it. So our questions, mainly, we combine the reading and writing research skills as a question, but for statistical purposes and in order to measure which component has a bigger or a major effect rather than the other, we separated them according to analysis. So we needed to check how far the students master these skills and what is the suggested blended learning course employing webcasts. Also, is it effective or not? We need to measure this as well, or we need it. So the significance of the study can be summed up as accessibility. A blended course, it's accessible to all students, whether those who can attend face-to-face meetings or those who are low achievers. And also, the blended learning course present different media of practice that give a wide range of information for them to choose from. Also, concerning the physical materials represented in e-books, represented in realia, and some far-fetched things that can be brought into a classroom, so we can substitute this by using a blended learning course or using media and realia. And of course, incorporate webcasts effectively in teaching and learning process. So the significant or the limitation, we have three limitations for our study. We have first the subject place and limitation, which is about 69 students in EL 112, which is the communication skills level 2 at the requirement program AOU. Also, the other limitation goes for the content, which is the variables. Our variables here concentrated on reading and writing research skills, checklist or inventory that was verified by a group of jurors. Also, the time limitation was only 12 weeks, 2 tutorial per week, in addition to 2 hour tutorial per week, in addition to 1 hour for lab workshop per week. As has been indicated before, the day before, writing should be taught in a lab. As for the hypothesis, the first hypothesis is related to, we wanted to measure whether there is a significant difference between the pre-post administration of the research comprehension test, and at the same time, our second one was, this is for the reading component, reading research skills component, and our second hypothesis for the writing research skills component. This will be reflected in our discussion of results. For the methods, here we adopted one group design, pre, treatment, and post. Also, our design for the course implemented 6 components. These 6 components are represented in integrative units, small group activities, presenting to learn approach, classroom workshops, authentic experiences, and reflective assessment by the students themselves and by the tutor as well, which is formative assessment. Our instrument, at first I had to make sure that the students master the needed, at least the minimum computer skills, so they can use the Microsoft Word, they can use PowerPoint presentation, they can navigate the internet and get the information, because all our concern was about helping them to be good learners. So the questionnaire, as can be seen here, was presented in both English and Arabic to avoid any misunderstanding and to guarantee real response on the part of the participant. Also, 3 rubrics were presented at the end of each webcast. At the end of each webcast, we presented 3 rubrics to help the students to measure their own weaknesses and strengths, and as well the instructor or the tutor to measure their progress and performance as well. As for the pre-post test, the pre-post test was administered to measure any improvement. Also, at the end of the implementation, we had blended course assessment questionnaire, where we tried to measure students' satisfaction and reflection about the whole experiment, being taught an English language by using blended course employing webcasts, and whether they prefer to generalize this to other courses later on. All are going to be reflected in the results. Also, the procedure, we reviewed and literature to identify all of these. And for the theoretical framework, I designed a model. Okay, 2 minutes. I designed a model which integrates critical thinking and problem solving, so through which the students can identify the topic, start to collect data, analyze these data according to conceptualizing these information that they have found, and start reflecting and writing by eventually their research paper. As for the implemented study, this is the main component of the blended learning course. Also, the practical study was done on the LMS. On the LMS, I uploaded the 7th module related to the study. I also uploaded the video. I also uploaded a video on the YouTube. I uploaded the link on the LMS to guarantee that the students are having full blended environment, so they can attend classes even if they are not physically there. I used webquest. Webquest consists of first introduction. One of the webcasts was about comparing an argumentative research paper about the effect of internet and whether the e-readers and e-books are going to be dominant over the printed books. So the webquest has introduction, has task, and each task should be or should have resources, a link or several links as resources to guide the students for more readings so that they can answer the needed task. We asked them, for example, to transfer linear information into non-linear and vice versa. And finally, there was the assessment, which is 3 rubrics as indicated before. The results, as can be shown, this is for the rubric for the reading research skills. Of course, the students have scored low in content or understanding inferred content in a reading passage. This is for the writing component, and this is for the problem solving and critical thinking. Excuse me that I'm going through this so fast. T-test was for statistical development. We used the T-test. As we can see, this is the compared mean score of the students according to the pre-test and the post-test. Also, this is the value for the T-test. Also, the dimension, the reading comprehension and the writing research paper, or reading comprehension for research papers and the writing research paper were compared, and we found that reading, because it's receptive skills, students could manage to score high grades than writing, which is productive skills. As for student satisfaction, as can be seen, students showed high level of satisfaction, and they recommended to have such blended courses and the web quests in other courses in addition to, and other measures as well. For the conclusion, we have reached the conclusion that we can, well, okay, just the recommendation. Let's skip to the recommendation, please, Dr. Sirvar. We had encountered some challenges, and we had encountered and we detected some strengths, but unfortunately, due to time constraint, I have to close it now. Please, Dr. Sivart, let's go for the recommendation.
Yes. Concerning recommendations, we are really very happy to say that this course was very successful, and we do recommend that they study, because it's going to help them for their research. And WebQuest was also successful, but we have to train the tutors, and we want the tutors of other sections or departments to go along with the tutors who are trained, so that they speak all the same language and they help each other. It is also suggested that this course would go for all branches. Again, a rigorous team should do the research, because one individual research maybe you don't trust and you would not do it. One of the very important things that I would like to mention is the AOU in-house style. In addition, I would like to mention, yesterday, Professor Mustafa Al-Ashari said about, highlighted about research, and this study is really putting the first steps on research. In addition, he said critical thinking is important, and we have to give critical thinking, and this is what we did, and this study is offering. Dr. Chakra said about that it should start from the very beginning, and this is addressing the first level. So I think we can say that we are helping in a way to address the issues concerned of this conference, but we started since 2010 implementing and not planning. So, Marine, if you would like to end up.
I just want to quote Professor Sirvat's quote, which is, if I will, I will. By overcoming this, if we adopt this quote, we may overcome all the discomfort that Arnold indicated in his quote. Thank you.
Thank you very much for Dr. Servant and Dr. Marine. And any questions will be left after the session. And we'll go to the second paper. The second paper will be presented by Dr. سعيد سليمان عواشرية, عضو هيئة التدريس بجامعة باطنة في الجزائر, رئيس فرقة بحث في وحدة تنمية الموارد البشرية جامعة سطيف الجزائر. عنوان محاضرته جاهزية الكفاءة الذاتية لأعضاء هيئة التدريس بالجامعة الجزائرية للتعليم المفتوح وأثرها في تجسيد ذلك. شكرا. Please.
شكرا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين. أما بعد، أولا وقبل كل شيء اسمحوا لي أن أتقدم بجزيل الشكر إلى كل من ساهم في فعاليات هذا المؤتمر منذ أن كان فكرة إلى أن أضحى ثمرة أتت أكلها إن شاء الله بعد حين. أما فيما يتعلق بموضوع بحثي هذا فهو يندرج ضمن موضوع كبير وهام، وهو الجهوزية للتعلم المفتوح. وتتعلق هذه الجهوزية بأحد الجوانب ذات الأهمية، وهي الجانب العاطفي، ومتعلقة كذلك بعنصر بشري والمتمثل في هيئة التدريس. وقد عنونا بجاهزية الكفاءة الذاتية لأعضاء هيئة التدريس بالجامعة الجزائرية للتعلم المفتوح وأثرها في تجسيد ذلك. وكان هادفا أساسا إلى تحقيق هدفين أساسيين. الهدف الأول وهو البحث عن مدى جهوزية الكفاءة الذاتية للتعليم المفتوح لدى أعضاء هيئة التدريس بالجامعة الجزائرية، متخذا من جامعتي باتنا وجامعة سطيف 2 بالجزائر والواقعتين في الشرق الجزائري نموذجا على ذلك. والهدف الثاني هو محاولة إعطاء تفسير لتعثر عدم نجاح أو تعثر بعض مشاريع التعليم الإلكتروني في الوطن العربي دون تخصيص لأي جامعة أو أي دولة. وللإجابة على السؤال الأول تبنينا ما يعرف بالقياس الإمبريقي، في حين وللإجابة على السؤال الثاني تبنينا القياس العقلاني. أما في القياس الإمبريقي تجسد إجرائيا في اختيار عينة من الجامعتين المذكورتين، جامعة باتنا وجامعة سطيف 2، من مختلف التخصصات العلمية من خلال تطبيق استبانة صممت من طرف الباحث لقياس جاهزية الكفاءة الذاتية. وتجدر الإشارة هنا أن مصطلح الكفاءة الذاتية أقصد به 3 أمور أساسية. الأمر الأول وهو اعتقادات الفرد حول أو عضو هيئة التدريس بمدى أهمية التعليم المفتوح. العنصر الثاني وهو اعتقاداته على مدى تمكنه وقدرته من النجاح في هذا التعليم. والبعد الثالث هو انفعالاته المتكونة تجاه التعليم المفتوح من خلال ذلك، وهي المكونات الأساسية التي جاءت مكونة للاستبيان المعتمد في هذه الدراسة. وأذكر أن هذا المصطلح هو كان من اهتمامات أول الأمر من طرف ألبرت باندورا، ثم طوره مارازانو في دراسته لما تحدث عن البناء الذاتي للإنسان. أعود إلى الدراسة الميدانية. الدراسة الميدانية تبنت المنهج الوصفي التقابلي فكان في شقه بالنسبة للسؤال الأول منهج وصفي، وفي الشق الثاني للسؤال الثاني اللي هو المنهج التقابلي. سأحاول أن أنتقل مباشرة إلى النتائج حتى لا أطيل. عفواً. أيوه. بالنسبة للاستبيان فقد أخضعناه لدراسة استطلاعية تم فيها حساب خصائصه السيكومترية من صدق وثبات، وأكدت النتائج على صدق الاستبانة وثباتها وملائمتها من ثم لإجراءات الدراسة الميدانية. كما تلاحظون بالنسبة للأسلوب الإحصائي المعتمد هو المتوسط الحسابي، وحسب إجراءات تصحيح الاستبانة نلاحظ أنها جاءت قيم المتوسطات الحسابية في الاستبانة ككل وكذا أبعادها الفرعية أقل من المتوسط والممثل بقيمة 2، وجاءت مرتبة على الشكل الموضح. اعتقادات حول أهمية التعليم المفتوح نال المرتبة الأولى، تلاه اعتقادات حول القدرة على تطبيقه، ثم تلاه انفعالات الفرد تجاه التعليم المفتوح. وبالرغم من ذلك فجاءت يعني أقل من المتوسط، مما يدل على انخفاض مستوى الكفاءة الذاتية للتعليم المفتوح لدى عينة البحث. حاولنا أن نقدم لذلك مجموعة من التفسيرات، وألخصها الحين في 3 تفسيرات أساسية. التفسير الأول قد يعود إلى تعرض يعني أفراد عينة البحث لتجارب في التعليم المفتوح، وكانت هذه التجارب غير مرضية وغير سارة. وعلى سبيل المثال جامعة التكوين المتواصل وما يسمى بالتعليم عن بعد لدينا، ومن جانب آخر التذبذب في مدى الاعتراف بشهادة خريجيها قد يكون لهذا العامل سبباً. السبب الثاني الذي قد يكون كذلك هو إحساس أفراد عينة البحث أن تطبيق تجربة التعليم المفتوح في الجزائر لم يكن عن حسن نية، وإنما هو حق أريد به باطل، فهو يعود كثيرا إلى استجابة لتيار إيديولوجي ينادي بتطبيق ديمقراطية التعليم وحق الفرد في الفهم والتعليم، ولكن ذلك الطلب كان طلبا مشحفا، فهم لا ينادون بديمقراطية التعليم وإنما ينادون بديمقراطية النجاح. هم لا ينادون بحق الفرد في التعليم والمعرفة، وإنما ينادون بحق الفرد في النجاح ويعتبرونه حقا شرعيا بأي طريقة. السبب الثاني الذي قد يكون كذلك هي مقاومة التغيير، ومما لا شك فيه أن مقاومة التغيير من الخصائص البشرية. وإذا اعتبرنا أن التعليم المفتوح هو يعني تحول جذري لمهام ووظائف ومكانة وسلطة الأستاذ، إذا انتقلنا إلى التعليم المفتوح، وهذا قد يكون له سببا في النتائج. بالنسبة للسؤال الثاني والمتعلق بمدى تعثر يعني التعليم المفتوح في بعض الدول من دون تحديد هذه الدول، حاولت أن أضع مقاربة نظرية لمعايير الجهوزية وأصيغ لها تصنيفا، في حيث من خلال الكثير من الدراسات وضعت هذه الصنفة لمتطلبات الجهوزية لتنفيذ التعليم المفتوح. فيه الجهوزية المادية والتقنية، الجهوزية البشرية، والجهوزية السياسية، والجهوزية العاطفية. ومما لا شك فيه أن كثير من الدول العربية قد ساهمت كثيرا في الأبعاد الثلاثة الأولى، الجهوزية المادية والتقنية والجهوزية البشرية والجهوزية السياسية، لكنها لم تولي اهتماما بالجهوزية العاطفية، والتي تمثلت في بحث هذا بالجهوزية ما سميته بالكفاءة الذاتية. ولو حاولنا أن ننظر إلى المجتمع وكيف يتكون أو ما هي مكوناته، لا أدركنا أن متطلبات الجهوزية لتحقيق التعلم المفتوح هي انعكاس أبعاد المجتمع. فتلاحظون أن أبعاد المجتمع فيه قوانين الطبيعية وهي متطلبات الجهوزية للتعلم المفتوح، وما تسمى بالمتطلبات المادية أو الصلبة، في حين أن القوانين المعيارية الممثلة في التشريع والذهنيات تعكس المتطلبات الجهوزية الرخوة المتمثلة في التشريع المدرسي والتشريع والجاهزية العاطفية. وإذا رجعنا إلى نظرية الانفجار التي تنص على أن الخلل أو المشكلات التي تحدث في المجتمعات تحدث نتيجة تغير في أحد أبعاد المجتمع وعدم تتابع تغير في الأبعاد الأخرى، فإننا يمكن أن نقول أن تأثر التعلم المفتوح في بعض الدول يعود إلى عدم انسجام في تغير مختلف الأبعاد المكونة للجهوزية. والمخطط الأخير، وسأقف إلى هذا الحد معذرة إن أطلت فقط، أنا أدري أن الوقت نفذ. فنلاحظ مثلا مثلت أبعاد المجتمع
You still have 2
ومثلت
minutes. You still have 2 minutes.
أي
Thank you.
فأنا أراقب يعني ذاتيا. شكرا. ففي الحالة الأولى إذا كان هناك تغيرات منسجمة فسيؤدي ذلك إلى نجاح تنفيذ التعليم المفتوح. أما إذا كان هناك تغيرات غير منسجمة فإننا لا نصل إلى التعلم المفتوح. والإشكالية المطروحة هنا هي في الجهوزية الأخيرة اللي هي اعتقادات خاطئة وعدم توقع نجاح واتجاهات سلبية حول التعلم المفتوح، بالرغم من أن هناك هيئة تدريسية في هذه الجامعة، بالرغم من هناك هياكل وميزانية، غير أن هناك تعثر. وفي الأخير فقط كتوصية عامة، لابد من نجاح التعلم المفتوح، لابد من إحداث تغيير منسجم في جميع متطلباته. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته، ومعذرة عن الإطالة.
شكرا دكتور سعيد. Our third presentation is by Dr. Irene Adetimini, from Ibadan, Nigeria. University of Ibadan. She's from Department of Library Archival and Information Studies. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The title of my paper is Motivation for Faculty Success in Distance Learning, the Experience of University of Ibadan, Nigeria. Goals of distance learning. Distance learning is made to provide more access to people who in the traditional university may not have admission, and it is more learner-centered, and it's expected to meet the needs of the students. Now, this is just a diagrammatic expression of the people involved in distance learning. On one side, we have the teacher. On the other side, we have the students. And from both sides, there is the content. That is, the students are expected to have relationship with the content. The teacher also should have a relationship with the content for the success of distance learning. Now, when we look at how do students now achieve this success, they need online support system, infrastructure and technology. They must also have quality and cost design that have been implemented by the faculty, and they are also supposed to be taught by experienced faculty. For distance learning to be successful, there are essential resources that should be provided. We need the human resources, we need the material resources, we need the financial resources. The human resources include the faculty. Now, for a faculty to be involved in teaching distance learning, the faculty needs to be equipped with information and communication literacy skills, and the willingness also to teach under the distance learning program. One thing we've realized that these faculty who are also involved in distance learning are also involved in teaching the traditional schemes in university. And the implication is that their workload is much. And for them to be able to achieve and build the quality that is expected of distance learning, they need to be motivated. Now, for faculty to be motivated, there are some factors that should be considered. We look at the monetary aspect, that is how much remuneration will be paid this faculty. We think about the reward system. For this includes their time that would be involved in teaching the students, in interacting with the students, and also good infrastructural system and ICT support. Because now we're talking about a system wherein the students are not physically present all the time on the campus. So you need to interact with them, you need to send them materials online, and for them to receive these materials, you must have the adequate ICT infrastructure and good telecommunication services. Motivating factors could be divided into 3. The intrinsic factors, that is the factors that are embedded within the faculty. The extrinsic factors, that is those that are external to the faculty, and then institutional factors like the infrastructure in place to ensure that there is success in the distance learning project. Now, I want to look at the types of motivation. The types of motivation I have summarized here is the one that has to do with continuous training provided by the university for both the faculty and the students. Now, we also look at the compensation, that is, how much reward will you give to these lecturers who are teaching the distance learning students for them to be willing and for them to be diligent in carrying out their activities as faculty on the distance learning project? Then you must look at a very good reward system that can compensate them for their time. We also will look at what institutional support. You need to increase the institutional support. You need to provide the adequate environment that is necessary to be able to carry out this distance learning project and make sure that this program is successful. Now, we also look at the issue of training in terms of course content, in terms of having ICT facilities, in terms of having ICT assistants that would also enable the faculty in presenting their course content in an e-learning format. Now, also, we have to look at the issue of mentoring. We have more experienced educators. Now, these educators should be able to mentor the younger lecturers so that they will be effective in carrying out their distance learning responsibilities. Statement of the problem. I have realized that over a period of time, University of Ibadan has been involved in the distance learning project, and also the faculty members that are involved in this program are also expected to teach on the regular program. And the implication of this is that they also have the workload, which is really, really heavy, and because the distance learning program runs all through the year, so they are involved in this distance learning program, and it takes a lot of their time. Another problem that we've come to discover is that we have poor infrastructural facilities to adequately carry out the distance learning program as it is expected. Infrastructure in terms of bandwidth, internet connectivity, the required bandwidth to be able to upload electronic materials, and also electricity. Now, this made me to now decide to carry out a study, and I now postulated some of these research questions. The first one is, what are the learning support needed by faculty to teach distance learning courses? What motivates faculty to teach the distance learning courses? And what motivation does the University of Ibadan provide for this distance learning faculty? The method I used was that I interviewed 8 representatives of departments of the Faculty of Education, which is the first faculty to be involved in the distance learning project, and I also collected secondary data from the Distance Learning Center from my university. The results I'm going to present now shows that presently we have 5 faculties and 18 departments involved in the distance learning program in the University of Ibadan, and we presently have 375 faculty members and 47 academic advisors for the degree program of the distance learning. In University of Ibadan, we have the distance learning program being divided into 2. We have the diploma program, and we also have the degree. So I will be focusing more on the degree program. From my results, I found out that faculty need, for them to be able to teach on the distance learning program, they need improved remuneration, they need improved infrastructural facilities in terms of electricity, in terms of internet connectivity. They also need improved involvement in decision-making in distance learning. They want to be involved in the management, taking managerial decisions, because such decisions would also adversely affect the relationship with the students and the relationship with the university. Now, I found out that some of the motivating factors that would benefit the faculty under the distance learning program are that many of them are involved in this program to ensure the quality of the program, because most of the faculty that are on the distance learning program are also teaching the regular students. So they want to ensure that there's quality in terms of, there's balance in terms of quality for the distance learning program and also the regular program. Many of the faculty also said that they are teaching the distance learning program, teaching under the distance learning program because of pressure from their heads of this department, especially the younger faculty. Many of them do not have a choice, but they are expected to teach under the distance learning program. And then some faculty said that because they want to give back to the community. What are the times of motivation that this distance learning faculty gets from the university? The University of Ibadan has decided to employ academic advisors to bridge the gap between the faculty and the distance learning center on one hand, and the faculty and the students on another hand. Then the university has also mandated that there should be regular meetings with the faculty to be able to carry the faculty along in terms of administration of the distance learning program. Another thing that the University of Ibadan has done for the faculty is that they pay them their dues when required. That is, there's regular payments. Once you finish marking, once you submit the scripts and the marks of the students, then you can be sure in the next 5 to 7 days, your money will be paid. Another thing that the University of Ibadan does to motivate a distance learning faculty is that they sponsor them to local and international conferences and workshops that will benefit and equip them with more skills so that they will effectively be more productive. Conclusion. I found out that from my study, it is an important, the faculty is an important component of the distance learning structure, and that faculty are involved in teaching, okay, to be able to ensure quality in the program, and that they require some skills and they need infrastructural support from the university. Therefore, my recommendations are as follows: that the university should provide adequate and appropriate institutional support in terms of infrastructure, in terms of regular power supply, in terms of appropriate internet connectivity, and also improve the reward system and communication between the university and the faculty. Another recommendation is that to ensure quality between the distance learning program and the regular program, the University of Ibadan must ensure that these faculty are diligent and willing to serve once the environment is friendly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Irene. Paper number 4, I think the lecturer is not around, so we will move to lecture number 5 by Dr. Khan Firdaus Rahman, right? Yeah. His lecture will be on دراسة عن استعداد المتدربين لمواد التعلم الرقمي بوصفه الملحق لمواد التعلم الذاتي للمدرسة المفتوحة من الجامعة المفتوحة. Dr. Khan is an assistant professor in the Department of Environmental Sciences, State University of Bangladesh. Please, thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam. Respected Chair and the panel members and learned audience, Assalamu alaikum. The topic I am here, that is the learners' preparedness for digital learning materials as supplement of self-learning materials of Open School of Bangladesh Open University. As you know, that technology provides the opportunities for more interactive and flexible open and distance learning program. The traditional print-based open and distance learning programs have experienced facelifts and adaptation to the web. And despite the imperatives of policy and rhetoric about the integration of information and communication technologies, the Open School of Bangladesh Open University often uses digital learning materials as an add-on in few courses of programs, for example, higher secondary school program. Open School introduced the digital learning materials as the immediate past government's agenda of Bangladesh of implementing digital Bangladesh to provide a key harness the educational potential of digital resources such as open educational resources and massive online course materials, open course materials, internet communication, VIC, and interactive multimedia to engage the interest, interaction, and knowledge construction of marginalized learners. And this extension activity transforms the traditional schooling model. But the problem that the open school confronts with, that is how the learners could enhance the changed learning activity with digital learning material. The major handicap lies with no access of the learners in the computers of the tutorial centers. Therefore, it was attempted to test the effectiveness of this approach using the personal computer. With this, the overall objective of this paper is to explore the feasibility of implementation of digital learning materials for the open school programs. However, the specific objectives are to investigate the scope of promoting the awareness of the different dimensions of digital learning materials that need to be considered when establishing and maintaining a digital system in the open school, and to find out the solution of the problem. This is basically a cross-sectional study using both qualitative and quantitative techniques. The empirical data were collected from the targeted respondents, then the structured questionnaires were used to have the opinion of the learners, and interviews were made through cell phones and face-to-face contact. Now I am directly with the results and discussion. Established in 1992, the Bangladesh Open University has been the only open and distance learning provider in the country by law. Here they enjoy the monopoly. No other institute is authorized by law to support the ODL system in my country. The Open School of Bangladesh Open University is legally of equal status of the 5 other schools of the university. Open School offers 3 programs named Junior School Certificate for grade 6 to 8, Secondary School Certificate for grade 9 to 10, and Higher Secondary Certificate for grade 11 to 12. Bangladesh Open University enrolls each year nearly 100,000 learners in its 23 programs of study, and almost 90% of them are the learners of the open school programs. As such, open schools programs cover every remote corners of the country and provide the highest revenue to the university exchequer. Open School extensively uses print, radio, TV broadcast at the national chunk and tutorial support services near to the learner's place. The program curriculum is at par to the conventional curriculum, and the secondary school certificate and higher secondary certificate curriculum do not have vocational courses, but only the junior school certificate program curriculum is coupled with the vocational courses and ICT learning materials in a limited range. In this survey, the mean value of the learners' responses on the study materials reflect the ICT aspect is 3.95, which provides that learners of the open school are prepared to have the ICT-enabled learning supports. Radio and TV broadcast. Bangladesh Open University obtained allocation of airtime on national radio and television. The open school broadcast TV program to courses that would most benefit from access to these facilities. The TV program is very popular to the learners as the mean value is 3.53. In addition, learners like TV program which compared to attend the tutorial classes. Now, virtual interactive classroom. The open school ran virtual interactive classroom program to make a video interactive for the English course of the higher secondary certificate program. The method uses mobile technology as the interactivity tool, and Bangladesh Open University enters into a mobile learning through this methodology. Open school learners have the mobile phones and they contact with tutors. This means with the mean value 3.51 that there is a tremendous prospect of VIC within the school, and learners are prepared to have the opportunity of learning resources. The Open School aims to develop e-content by the course lecturer in the form of lesson notes and to publish in the Bangladesh Open University website. Usefulness of digital lesson notes. The learners' mean response on use of Cyber Cafe is 3.38, which means digital content play by Open School may be successful as the learners are going to Cyber Cafe, as all of them don't have their own internet connection. But they can have this facility from the friends. To conclude, going digital is very dynamic step of the Open School of Bangladesh Open University, and it is also a big challenge for the university as a whole. This attempt will advance the Open School activities and will generate a digital learning environment for the learners' confidence to compete in the digital world. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Khan. We have the last paper by Dr. Said Saadal Husseini, and it's about مجموعة الحياة الواقعية في التعليم المفتوح. Thank you.
This is not mine. Keep the one. Yes, this one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And very good afternoon to all of you. This is my great honor and pleasure to stand before all of you to share some of my views and some of my thoughts and experience. My today's topic is compilation of real life case Let's On usage of social network in business management teaching in the Sultanate of Oman. Actually, we are two authors of this paper. Number one, Dr. Mani Shankar. He could not come here because of his busy schedule. And I'm Syed Saadallah Husseini. I'm working as a faculty in Arab Open University. Inshallah, I will be presenting this paper. Keywords and introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, technological development has brought revolution in all aspects of our life. Our societies and businesses, our professions and politics, etc., are very much influenced by technological advancement and development. Investors are investing trillions of dollars in the development of technology. In the last 2.5 decades, the term technology is making a very huge name. And it is advancing every day, and in the last few years, it has gained very high speed and strength. Technological advancement in social media, like Facebook, Twitters, and blogs, have become very popular in various domains, and education is one of such domains which has accepted and realized the importance of this social media tool for learning and education. Technology is enabling us to redefine everything, including education and learning. In this presentation, inshallah, I will be discussing, or I will be sharing our personal experience of using and dealing with these social media tools like Facebook, Twitters, and blogs, including in-house learning platform for the education of our students and society and professionals. Literature review. Web 2 is an intelligent concept, and Web 2 is very much useful and helpful for developing various educational tools. Presently, many people have started using these social media tools for various purposes, including education and learning. The increased need of social media is creating various issues related to the internet of speed or availability of internet to make the teaching and learning successful. Study shows that faculties of universities and colleges are not only using these social media tools like Facebook, Twitter, and blogs in their personal life, but also they have extended their usage even in their professional life. Study shows that YouTube and Facebook, these are the two social media tools which is used by many faculties of the universities and colleges. Approximately 67% of the faculties have used this social media tool in their classrooms and lectures, and 30% of the faculties have uploaded their contents, presentation, and lectures in these social media tool for their students to view outside the classes. And apart from this, almost 40%, approximately 40% of the faculties have asked their students to refer this social media tool for completing their assignments and project. And 20 to 25% of the faculties have given the job to their students for commenting on these social media websites. All this information was reported in a study called Growing Importance of Social Media in Teaching and Learning. Caselets. We have taken our personal experience of using and dealing with this social media tool as a case study, and I am going to present the snapshot of the usage of various social media tools for learning and education. And inshallah, I will try to share my experience of using and dealing with these social media tools. Number one, in-house learning platform, or we can say e-learning platform, like LMS or Moodle. This is basically a software which is being used by many colleges and universities. And we have been using this platform for many purposes, for various purposes, like uploading our assignments and presentation, lectures, contents, for our students to view outside the classes. Yesterday we were discussing one of our colleagues from Kuwait branch. She was discussing about the various advantages and the benefits and uses of Moodle. I will also try to list some of the important usage and advantages of Moodle. With the help of Moodle, we can assess and monitor students' performance, and conducting examination and quizzes also can be possible with the help of Moodle. And apart from this, sending and receiving messages and emails also possible, and faculties can do announcement. And apart from this, this Moodle also will be useful for students to upload their assignment to their faculties. So these are some of the important advantages and benefits of Moodle. And this Moodle is very widely and very effective tool for teaching and learning. The second important social media tool which can be used as a tool of teaching and learning is Facebook. And Facebook is very famous in the world of social media. And all the stakeholders who are involved in teaching and learning process are aware of the uses, advantages, and limitation of this social media tool. Although Facebook is not so popular and it is not very famous for education and learning, but the study shows that there are so many faculties, they have already started using this Facebook for even teaching and for teaching and learning as an educational tool. Myself and my co-author, Dr. Mani Shankar, have taken have our own pages in Facebook, and this is being used as a community-centered teaching tool. And this Facebook we have chosen out of our personal interest, and we have been extremely successful in sharing our knowledge and information and in achieving our targeted goal of disseminating knowledge and information with our students and our audience in general, and with our society in particular. With our students in particular and audience and society in general. The second important social media tool which can be used as a teaching and learning platform is a very famous tool, is a YouTube. And audiovisual effect will be having a greater impact on the part of learner in the retention of the knowledge. And apart from this, this platform will make the teaching and learning process more interesting, more simpler and user-friendly. We have uploaded some of our contents for our students and for our audience in particular and for the society in general, okay, even in the Facebook. And this is a picture of Dr. Manishankar. He has uploaded, he was talking about, you please, if you have a time, you can log on or Google it. Next one, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is basically a professional networking platform. And with the help of this platform, we can not only develop our professional network, but this platform is an ideal platform to share and disseminate knowledge and information. With the help of this platform, we can also have discussion about the development of various fields. And apart from this, the most important thing about this platform is this platform acts as an ideal bridge to close the gap between the industry and academia. And we have been using this platform not only for developing our professional network, and this is an ideal platform as per my experience, okay, to share our knowledge and information, to disseminate our knowledge and information. This is my picture in LinkedIn, and the snapshot of Dr. Manishankar, my co-author's picture, and SlideShares. SlideShare is another platform for sharing and disseminating knowledge and information in the form of PowerPoint presentation. And this platform is an ideal platform through which students can upload the PowerPoint presentation of various teachers. And with the help of this platform, also a learner can upload their assignment in the form of PowerPoint presentation for the evaluators to evaluate. And knowledge dissemination and sharing becomes quicker and faster with the help of this platform. And we have been also using this platform for sharing our contents and our presentation for our students and our audience in particular, and for the society in general. You can see the snapshot. Okay, we have already uploaded some of myself and Dr. Manishankar. We have uploaded our presentation for our students and audience in particular, and for the society in general. The next one is blogs. Blogs is another strongest means of reaching to the large number of audience, even at the national and global level. As we were discussing yesterday, blogs can be even a part of Moodle, but in Moodle, blogs usage is widely neglected because of many issues. We have, particularly Dr. Manishankar, he has been using this blog, he is managing this blog, 2 of his blogs, okay, as a teaching and learning tool, and this is one of the picture, the snapshot of this blog, and particularly he is managing this blog for sharing his literary work and accomplishment and doing some announcement, okay, doing some announcement related to or pertaining to business and management. The last one is microblog or Twitter. This is another important, we can say, tool of reaching to the large number of audience at the global level. And this tool also can be used for teaching and learning. And we have been successful in managing 390 followers from different parts of the world with active participation from many of them. And the most important thing about this blog, with the help of this blog, we can share our knowledge and our information within the blog, and also with the help of this blog, we can distribute the knowledge and information and our announcement even in Facebook, LinkedIn, and other blogs. The important challenge of this blog is the character limit of 140 words, and one needs to be very crisp and clear while sharing his content and information, okay, through this blog. These are the various social media tools that we have been using for sharing our knowledge and information, particularly with our students and with our audience, and also for the society in general. And we have been extremely successful in achieving our targeted goal of disseminating and sharing knowledge and information. So in nutshell, in conclusion, I may conclude by saying that development of social media is redefining the teaching and learning process, and social media plays an important role in knowledge sharing by reaching the audience at the global level. And social media makes teaching and learning process more easier, interesting, and user-friendly. And last, it helps all the stakeholders to acquire and share knowledge by sitting in one corner of the room. With this few words, I would like to conclude or complete my presentation. Thanks for listening. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Hassani, to exchange your experiences from Amman. Thank you. We have maybe 10 minutes or 12 minutes to ask questions from the floor, because this room also is needed at 1 for the final session. Any question from the floor? Yes, please. The front first, and then we'll go to you.
Yes, thank you for Dr. Sayed. My question is, you listed maybe about 8 or 10...
Can you introduce your name yourself?
Dr. Hind Mirza from Saudi branch of Arab Open University. My question for Dr. Sayed is, you listed like 6 or 7 ways of social media to communicate with the students for sharing knowledge, which is good. But how can you communicate that you tell the student to log into specific media? Because if you let it open for them, I think they will be lost, because so many tools.
It's a very good question. Thank you very much. Actually, I would say that, yes, of course, we have to encourage the students. Being a teacher, it is very important for all of us. We should have, always, we should be ready to disseminate knowledge and information. I generally sometimes encourage my students, to connect with me with these social media tools, so that, whenever possible, I can communicate with them, whatever, even the doubts and the clarification, whatever they need, which is related to their classes, also can be communicated with the help of social media. Okay, this social media tools, we are, particularly me, I'm using for my students and also for, the audience, which the connection, what I'm having with the help of this social media. I'm just always fond of sharing whatever I have knowledge. I always fond of sharing that knowledge and information with the people. I hope I answered the question.
Yeah. But if you have like something specific you want to share it with them, do you send them messages or do you send them emails that go and log in and see what I have for you?
Actually, generally, some announcement, maybe in the classes, in the lectures I do with my students, and also particularly through LinkedIn, we have a lot of connections. Generally, we use the LinkedIn for discussing about the development of various fields. And regarding the student side, I generally do announcement in the class if they need anything. I always give them some of my, like not Facebook, I may give them like other blogs, okay, the details of other blogs. We can log into this, you can see our, the literary work, what we have done, what is our accomplishment, so they can gain some knowledge. So these are the way, I'm using these media tools.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
There is a question here. Yes, please, and then you will be next. Thank you.
Mohammed Al-Safi, KSA branch. My question is to Dr. Erin. You know that in the whole process of learning, so whatever it is, distance learning or e-learning or blended learning, the most targeted part is the student. So my question is, what are the techniques that enhance this motivation of these students? Because in our Arab world, students need this kind of motivation. So how can we motivate our students to these such kinds of learning? So whatever they are. That's Dr. Erin, yeah. What are the techniques and the strategies that enhance our students? I mean, this question is open, so it is an open question. So who can answer this question is open question for all attendants.
Well, I would like to say
an open
that,
question. Yeah.
I would like to say that, first, the faculty has a role to play in motivating the students. One way you do that is trying to meet their needs using different techniques. like the last presenter that was using different social media, you need to know the information needs of your students. You need to know their ICT literacy skills so that you will be able to, whatever technology you want to deploy, it will meet their needs. And you as a faculty, if you are motivated and you are willing to teach, okay, these students, then you would, out of your interaction with these students, you will also motivate them in trying to reach their needs, to trying to know what they need and provide the facilities they require to be able to achieve success in their studies.
I wish we could have such samples, like demos for these kinds of motivation. So we need to see these things in the real teaching or learning life. For example, we could have, if we could have, let's say, demos from the classrooms, how these motivations are vital in future, inshallah.
Okay. Very much. We have a question here. Yes, please.
Madam Chair, it's not really a question. I just want to express my regret that the paper on distance learning and learning disabilities was not presented. And I was wondering whether somebody from the floor or the panel can give us some sort of insight as to the pluses and minuses of distance learning with regard to children or students who have learning disabilities. It's a very important item, and I think distance learning can have a very positive impact there. So I have no...
Actually, I share the same views with you on this point, and I came here. Of course, I liked all the presentation and the efforts and the experiences shared, but I was looking forward to see for the children group or pediatrics group, how would we benefit from using these technologies in education. But unfortunately, if there is anybody here to volunteer and answer, yes, please, thank you.
Athabasca University has more students with disability as a percentage than any other university. What we find with the new technologies that students with certain learning abilities, whether it's attention deficit issues, whether it's physical disabilities, emotional disabilities, and other kinds, they do extremely well. For all sorts of reasons. In fact, some of our students who have Asperger's syndromes have gotten jobs, have done extremely well. And it's because there's a relationship with technology. We have an office that deals with students with disabilities, and we design the technology intervention to deal with the disability. You cannot take one technology and say you apply it to everyone. You can do some of that if you have visual disabilities and others, but when they become to psychological disabilities, and we have more students with psychological disabilities than any other university, we do find that the new medium can really, really work, but it needs individual design. Otherwise, you will simply offer something that isn't real, but it does work. You just have to have a good lawyer, too, when you get sued and get it wrong.
Yeah, can you tell me the experience? Which university? Sorry, I didn't hear.
Athabasca University in Canada,
okay.
We're the Canadian Open University. And while I have the mic, I'd like to switch just for a brief observation, just because I can, if I could. It's a very famous Canadian intellectual who dominated the field of communications for many decades, Marshall McLuhan, did indicate that the medium, or the media, does become the message. And when I was listening to the paper on social media, I was thinking, well, perhaps in this case the media does become the message and there is nothing more than that, which would be frightening. That leads to the next question, which I throw out to everyone, which is technology in itself culturally neutral, or in fact, is the culture underpinning technology really the key driver? And until we resolve those issues, and it's a very fundamental issue, I don't think we can actually understand how to use technologies. So I really would like to encourage People who use technologies, whether it's in Canada or Britain or in the Arab world, to understand the cultural underpinnings of the technology they use. Otherwise, there will be unintended consequences for the cultures that use and adopt them. Just an observation.
Thank you. I will give you just to elaborate or follow up. So your faculty or your university, do you also include in your addressing the disabled or for the pediatrics, do you consider preparing teachers for this group of the community and to take them using in a traditional school to use these tools? Do you have this part in your education?
Yes, our system is somewhat complex, so I would have to say generally yes, but in the way you asked the question, I would say no.
What is the yes then? This is the no. Thank you.
Stay positive.
Yeah.
Michael Churton, I'm from the University of South Florida in Tampa, and the issue on disabilities is my content area. That's what I teach. I fully support what has been stated. It's an individualized approach depending on the disability that's involved. Certainly at the primary, secondary, and also at the university levels, opportunities to explore different academic programs, employment, and other opportunities have been opened because of the technology. There is a caution, however. The movement in special education for years has been inclusive education, and the technology allows individuals with disabilities to access information that may not be inclusive in terms of the society in which they live. Physical disabilities, it's much easier to access a course through an online approach, through some form of distance learning, than it is to be transported if your vehicle is so equipped to drive across town in order to get to the university or get to a site that has the information. So we need to be a little bit careful in that we do not do the education for students with disabilities in isolation. They need to be part and be included in the entire process.
Thank you for your comment. Yes, please.
I'm Dr. Shakra Alani. I'm the program coordinator of the Faculty of Language Studies at the Arab Open University Kuwait branch. My question is addressed to Dr. Saeed Sleiman from Algeria. So I'll be addressing my question in Arabic because he presented in Arabic actually. بما أن الجزائر مترامية الأطراف وأن التعليم فالمفتوح يعد الأمثل لإيصال التعليم إلى الأماكن النائية بالذات، فلماذا هذا التأخير أو كيف تفسر هذا التأخير في تطوير البنية التحتية التقنية التي تعد مقومات التعليم المفتوح، خاصة وأن المعوقات المادية غير موجودة في الجزائر؟
Can you repeat the question? You couldn't hear you.
بما أن الجزائر مترامية الأطراف وأن فالتعليم المفتوح يعد الأمثل لإيصال التعليم إلى الأماكن النائية بالذات، ولكن كيف تفسر هذا التأخير في تطوير البنية التحتية التقنية في الجزائر والتي تعد من المقومات التعليم المفتوح، خاصة وأن المعوقات المادية غير موجودة في الجزائر؟ يعني الجزائر غنية بمواردها الطبيعية، فلماذا
شكراً. أظن أخذت فكرة خاطئة عن الواقع. نحن لسنا فقراء من الناحية المادية ولكن من الناحية الذهنية، وهذا ينطبق على كل العرب. فما لدينا من موارد مادية يمكن أن تضاهي ما لدى أكبر الدول، إنما لا نختلف كثيرا عن بعضنا البعض، فنحن في الهوى سوا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
مش قوي.
Did he answer your question?
Well,
okay, thank you.
Not quite.
Well, maybe we have one last. Yes, please.
I am Pran Pandit from the language faculty of the Arab Open University, and I could have asked this question to my colleague at the university, but this is a more promising venue. So this question is addressed to Marine Milad and Madam Sahakian for their beautiful paper on their research on writing and reading skills. In your recommendation, one of the recommendations was the team approach to research. Now, I was wondering, you did not include in your research, or have you thought about it, of including teachers who are working at the third level in the faculty to where the students are going to finally go. Your students who will undergo your writing and reading training are coming to us at the third level. I'm teaching the literature courses, there are others teaching linguistics. We still find large areas of shortfall, you see, and it's like, students are still not able to write down their critical understanding of a text or to go into the e-library and search out material, etc. If your team included our representatives, we could, give you this information. You could see where the materials that you all are using, do you need a shift in that or a focus in that or some extra time, which is a problem, you said. But there is certainly a lot of lacunae left, despite the fact that improvements have been taking place over the years because of the introduction of these reading and writing courses. But yet, a lot is left desired to be done. So I would just suggest that you keep in mind a holistic approach, keeping all the different levels of teachers in your research.
Okay, I can answer this. Of course, we said the ground is open for all to participate and take our research to the upper levels, not only for level 1. In addition, I believe it's too soon to judge that the newly offered courses in reading and writing are ineffective, since the writing has been only offered for 2 semesters and the reading for 1 semester, and this is the second. So it's too soon, maybe this is a premature judgment to say that, because in level 3 you haven't, our students, our outcome haven't reached your level yet. So shall we wait? And again, we are open for more research and more collaboration among our colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marie. Can we take, I think, okay, I'll give you, if they allow us, I'll give you 2 minutes or 1 minute.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to dominate the question, but a comment on the motivation factors for teachers, instructors that came from the paper from Nigeria. You have to be also concerned about prior to the course. The design of the course is critical, and faculty, instructors need time to plan the course and then to deliver the course. So possibilities exist prior to. Everybody has workloads, very hard workloads. If you can release the faculty a certain amount of time to help them design, given all the other motivation tools that were mentioned, I support every one of them, but prior to, you need to motivate the faculty and get them involved prior to the delivery of the class to ensure that the course is well designed and prepared. Also prepare your students to receive that information.
Thank you very much. What we've done in University of Ibadan is we have courseware development program once in a year, and faculty are expected to register for them. And also to provide support for them, we have ICT assistants and academic advisors that bridge the link between the faculty and the distance learning center, so that the workload in terms of what technology is best, how do I record my video, things like that, the ICT component is taking care of that by the ICT assistants. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If you don't mind, I have one last comment myself. I want to see how much are open universities to prepare their graduates for postgraduate education. Because in the traditional school, this is a big objective, because you want the university first level is just the start of somebody's life ambition for future development and their community development. I don't know if anybody can answer, our lecturers or in the audience, because I want to see how much is this point is in our mind when we work on the Open Universities policy and objectives. Thanks.
Hello. Well, in University of Ibadan, what we've done in Nigeria is before there used to be a snag on the certificate that are given to distance learners. On the certificate, it was written distance learning. But after a while, there was a lot of deliberation that if you say these faculty that teach under the distance learning program are the ones that teach regular program, and the content, the curriculum is the same. So why is there disparity? So what they did in University of Ibadan was to remove that clause, okay? And any distance learning students that graduate from University of Ibadan is allowed to continue if you have the requirements, if you've made a good grade, and you can meet all the admission requirements, you can go on to Masters and PhD. Thank you.
Dr. Modi would like to respond.
شكرا دكتورة. يعني لا زالت في الوطن العربي، في الدول العربية اللي احنا نشتغل فيها، لا زال هناك حوار قائم بين الجامعات التقليدية والجامعات المفتوحة. إلى الآن بعض الجامعات، ما أقول الجامعات التقليدية، خاصة الجامعات الحكومية، لا تقبل طلبة الجامعات المفتوحة في الدراسات العليا، أو تضع اشتراطات عالية جدا لقبولهم. الحوار قائم، بالتأكيد يعني نتفهم بعض الأمور، ولكن بس أحب أعطي لمحة بسيطة لمستوى خريجين الجامعة العربية، وأتوقع أيضا بعض الجامعات العالمية المفتوحة. في الأردن على سبيل المثال في الناشونال إكزام لجميع الخريجين من الجامعات الحكومية والخاصة. مثلا في إدارة الأعمال يعمل امتحان ناشونال إكزام على مستوى الدولة. في معظم الامتحانات اللي أجريت، أو على الأقل مرتين اللي أنا شفت نتائجهم، دائما خريج الجامعة العربية يتقدم، خاصة في مجال البزنس والآي تي، يتقدم خريجي حتى الجامعات التقليدية الحكومية في الأردن. طبعا هذا يعني نعطي كريدت لإخواننا وزملائنا في فرع الأردن، they are doing a good job، لكن أيضا هم يمثلون الجامعة العربية ككل، وبالتالي هي المناهج موحدة وغيرها. الآن في بعض الجامعات الخاصة في بعض الدول العربية على طول طالبنا يروح ويكمل الدراسات العليا بدون أي مشاكل. المفارقة وين تكون؟ لأن الطالب خريج الجامعة العربية المفتوحة يحصل على شهادتين: شهادة الجامعة البريطانية المفتوحة وشهادة بكالوريوس الجامعة العربية المفتوحة. البكالوريوس للجامعة البريطانية المفتوحة عندما يتقدم لأي جامعة في العالم الغربي والمتقدم يقبل على طول في الدراسات العليا، ما عنده مشكلة. لما يتقدم في الوطن العربي لا يقبل، يعني أو بعض، حتى لا أعمم، بعض الدول العربية تقبل، لكن على الأقل أتكلم عن دول الخليج إلى الآن في يعني وأتكلم بالذات عن جامعة الكويت، لأني أنا أشتغل أو عملت في جامعة الكويت. إلى الآن لم يعني نصل إلى اتفاق مع جامعة الكويت شنو الريكوايرمنت اللي تتطلبها حتى تساتسفاي الريكوايرمنت لجامعة الكويت، إذا كان حتى نفتح المجال لطلبتنا. في النهاية البوتوم لاين هو جودة التعليم. طالبنا لا يقل أبداً، بل ربما يفوق الجامعات، خريج الجامعات التقليدية في كثير، وأنا قلتها وأكررها، في كثير من السكيلز وحتى جانب النولج. فهناك الحوار قائم، التفهم نرجو يعني أن يكون هناك تفهم بيننا بين الجامعات في معظم الوطن العربي وخاصة الحكومية، حتى نفتح المجال لطلبتنا من ناحية، وحتى يساهم الجميع، طلبة الجامعات المفتوحة وطلبة الجامعات التقليدية في التنمية اللي يمكن تطرقت لها في البداية. شكرا دكتورة.
شكرا دكتورة مضي. Now that I am the Dean of the Graduate College, I was discussing with my staff, vice deans and all, that if there are general exams somewhere in this world, like the TOEFL, GRE, GMAT and all, then we should challenge students through general exams, and then we consider them, we consider their abilities. And perhaps we can discuss this at a certain stage.
This is a great news, Dr. Farida. إذا يعني I know we are willing to go this extra mile with you to discuss what's needed from our part. I'm sure that our students can really score highly in the GMAT, in the TOEFL, and they already did because they applied to foreign or outside the institution, and they have been accepted in Europe and America. So this is a good step. We will discuss it further, and thank you for that.
It's not a final, but I'm telling you that I'm throwing ideas.
I know.
We
are thinking loudly, but it is a good way to really start to think about it and to study it more. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, because you need this room, I think. I appreciate very much and acknowledge all the beautiful presentations and your حسن استماعكم, your listening, your enriching the discussion after the presentations, and because they need this room, so maybe we have to stop. There is a question. I know I have a couple of questions that I couldn't ask, and I didn't want to take more than what I took myself from these points. Anyway, thank you very much. Dr. Modi, you will be here in a minute. Sorry, there is a question here. Do you want to give the time or what? Yeah, it's the time for... she's the boss here, it's not me. I'm sitting here on this table.
No, thank you.
I think Dr. Farida, I think there is a chance to discuss over the lunch with the certain further, because we have a closing session for 10 minutes, so we need that, and we can close at 1:30. There's the lunch and the visit to AOU campus. So please allow us and finish your discussion on the lunch time.
Thank you very much.
But if I get 1 minute time to express one of my comments, may I?
Okay.
Okay, I would like to let you know I'm Dr. Munir Hassan, came from Kuwait Masjid Business School. We do have an MBA program. So I would like to re-emphasize what Dr. Modi said as far as quality of the Arab University graduates. I am the material example of that one. When I was teaching at Kuwait Masjid Business School, some of the students from Arab Open University graduates happens to be the best student in my class. So with that reference, I'm also teaching at Arab Open University at present time as a part-time faculty. So as far as graduate quality, I think they have produced a good quality of students, and they should be proud.
Thank you very much.